Welcome everybody to the second midweek episode. Today we will be previewing this upcoming international window for the Canadian men's national soccer team. Earlier this week, or I guess last week now, at the moment of recording it being Sunday, November 7th, the Canada roster was announced. And it was announced with a big addition, which we'll touch base on him in a second here. So our three, we'll quickly touch base on the roster that was announced. Their 23-man roster for this window. So we'll start with goalies. Milan Borjan is on the list as, again, I don't know if he'll play. I hope he'll play. He is our number one goalie. He's a really top level goalie. I wouldn't put him elite, but I'd put him above average.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
Great goalie.
And he's our captain too, right? Him and Atiba Hutchinson are the two main captains. So, anywho, Milan Borjan's back. Maxime Crepeau, who ended up playing a few games for us, who played the entire last window for us. Huge in the 1-1 draw with Mexico, and nice for the Paraguay win as well. And then our third stringer is James Pantemis, who plays for Montreal in the MLS. And then looking at our defense, we only have 4 center backs named to the roster, and all are actually pretty decent, man. All have played pretty well so far for us. So Derek Cornelius, which is our young guy playing out in Greece for Panetolikos FC. I know, pretty good.
Very good, very good.
Daniil Henry, who's playing in Korea. Kamal Miller, playing in the MLS for Montreal. Steven Vittoria playing over in Portugal. I think it's the second division or for Moreirense, so it's not a huge name anyways. And then only 3 fullbacks were named. Samuel Adekubge, he's played a few games. He's played every window for us, if I'm not mistaken. Alistair Johnson and Richie Larea. So those are the 2 starting fullbacks for our roster. And only 3 were named. So that's a little concerning. Like, Richie Larea missed a game because of suspension. But if I'm not mistaken,
worried about substitutes.
I'm a little concerned about substitutes. If any, knock on wood, if any injury happens there, I mean, I guess Alphonso Davies can go back and play down there. Yeah. But Alphonso Davies is he's probably the only offensive player that we have that we could push back. But the way you want Davies in front because he's the one that creates all the plays. So fullback is right now we have 3 good fullbacks, but if anything happens, again, knock on wood. I'm a little nervous for that, but we'll touch base more on that in a second. So, next, the midfield. Atiba Hutchinson is named back to this roster. I don't know if he'll play necessarily or not. I think he's still coming back from his injury. I think I saw him play 1 game for Besiktas, but just 1 game. I don't know if he's necessarily in form. You have Stefan Eustachio, Mark Anthony Kay, Jonathan Osorio, Samuel Piet, and David Wotherspoon. I don't see Wotherspoon getting many minutes unless it's a blowout, a winning blowout. Which again, knocking on wood, not to be. I don't see any of these games being a blowout. I think there's going to be good, hard-fought 2-1, 1-0, 3-2 games. So it will be interesting. I don't see David Wotherspoon getting much time. And then Taijon Buchanan is in the forwards. We have Taijon Buchanan, Lucas Cavallini, Jonathan David, Alphonso Davies, Kyle Lern, Liam Miller, and Ike Ugbo. That's the guy that we told you that we would bring up and mention. Yeah, and then, I mean, we all know who Jonathan David, Davies, and Kyle Lern are. Mm-hmm. Liam Miller, I don't see him getting too much time. Ike Ugbo, I can see getting a little bit of time. Anywho, so looking back at our goalies, so we have the 3, Borjan, Crepeau, and Pantemis. I don't see Pantemis getting a second. Again, this is all barring injuries, but I don't see Pantemis getting a second. I think he's a decent goalie to be named to the roster. It's a pretty big deal. But this is Borjan's net. And if Borjan can't play, Crepeau is shown to be a very competent goaltender and keeper to be able to just go in there. He's not gonna win you a game, but I don't think he'll lose you a game either. Which, again, I was talking to my dad the other day, I was talking to my buddy David actually about goaltenders, and especially in soccer. I find a really good goaltender can make you a save or 2, but they can't overcompensate for terrible team defense. However, a below average goalie or a bad goalie can easily lose you a game. Because no matter how good of a defense you are, if you let in every shot you give up, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I think both Borjan and Crepeau are good enough goalies that they won't lose you a game. They might make a mistake or two, but I don't think it's going to be catastrophic, right? And then looking at our center backs, so 4 center backs were named to the roster, and all 4 have actually played for the Canadian men in the windows for the World Cup qualifiers so far, which is a nice change for once, you know. So, in my opinion, our 2 best are Steven Vittoria. I think he is like the heart of the defense. He's played really solid. He is getting a little up there in age. However, I do think he is a pretty solid, a solid center back. And then, he's 34, so he is getting up there in age. But our other defenders are still pretty young. Like Kamal Miller is 24, Derek Cornelius is 23. So we have a good young core coming up. Yeah. So I still think as our weakness, I honestly think that our center backs are the weakest position we have, especially knowing the kind of players that we have that were born Canadian that are representing other countries at the moment. That one hurts. One center back in particular that's representing AC Milan right now. That hurts me a little bit. I'm not even going to mention his name, but it hurts. Anywho, our 2 best defense, I think Vittoria and Miller start, just because I think Miller has a little bit more experience playing the higher pressure games, and these 2 are going to be massive games. Our fullbacks, I think it's pretty obvious who starts. It's Richie Laryea on the left, Alistair Johnson on the right.
Yeah.
Alistair Johnson has, for me, come out of nowhere. Like, this guy has been so unbelievably good for us. And my star, my player of the year not named Alphonso Davies, really. I just think that what he provides for this team, the fact that last window he played, if I'm not mistaken, he played every single minute. And soccer players, we usually have a game a week or a game every 5 days. These guys had 3 games in the span of 6 or 7 days.
Holy crap!
That's so tough.
Insane.
That is so tough.
Yeah.
And you're playing 90 minutes, and it's not like just jogging like a fullback. You go up and down all the time, start and stop. Oh, it's tough. It is tough for sure. So our fullbacks, I think we're set. And Samuel Adekubke, what I like about our squad is that Richie Laryea can play both left and right back. I think for TFC he plays right back, but Alistair Johnson's more comfortable as a right back, so that moves Richie Laryea to the left. But I like that because Richie Laryea gets to play on the left side with Alphonso Davies, right? And then Alistair Johnson has pretty good chemistry with Taijon Buchanan as well, so that makes it a little nice. But moving over to our midfields, I think our midfield is a little bit underrated for how decent they actually are. So I think Jonathan Osorio is one of those playmaking kind of midfields. He's not super quick necessarily, but I think he does have the playmaking ability that should make him a decent threat offensively, and the kind of guy that was good for the Alphonso Davies, Jonathan Davids to make a run, and he just knows how to play really. And then Samuel Piette and Marc-Anthony Kaye, both of those 2 are really solid defensive mids. It's how I used to play is I used to play a 4-2-3-1 with back 4, 2 defensive mids, 3 mid / 3 attacking mids, and then a striker, right? And they don't necessarily play that for the men's national team. I think they play a 4-4-3-3, really, I think is what they ended up playing. They have different formations often enough because it's tough to actually talk about the positioning and the formations that Herdman uses because he uses so many different ones. He's a tactician, and that's how they do so well. Anywho, so Marc-Anthony Kaye and Samuel Piette are more of defensive-minded midfielders. Wotherspoon plays more of a winger kind of role, so it's interesting that they put him as a midfielder on the Canada Soccer website. And then you have the main guy. Steven Eustachio is more of an offensively minded kind of player. He has had a couple of bigger mistakes on the defensive side, especially in the last game. But yes, Eustachio is pretty decent. And then Tebow Hutchinson, man, that's the captain. He's a guy who has a lot of experience in playing in a big stage with Besiktas in the Champions League. He plays all the time with them. So It'll be interesting. I think our midfield is pretty strong, but where the strength of this team comes by far, no question, is our forwards.
Yeah.
Taijon Buchanan, we've talked about him a lot in our podcasts of past. He's moving over to Belgium in January to play for Club Brugge. He's so good, and he was crucial in the last window of just making sure that we do well. He's offensively minded. What's interesting, so the way that Canada, the good soccer teams play, and the way that Canada's played recently with John Herdman, their wingers and their fullbacks are kind of interchangeable. So when the fullbacks go up to make the run, it is expected that the winger, whoever's playing in the wing, steps back and helps defend if need be.
Yeah.
And that's where Taijon Buchanan, I believe that's where his weakness is, the defending. The Mexico goal, I wouldn't say it's all his fault. By no means am I saying that, because I think Taijon Buchanan played an unreal game that game.
Yeah.
I think it was just a little mistake of his in defending, and then just a little bit on the goalie as well. Crepeau not being able to make that reactionary save, but it was a good goal scored by Mexico. I'm not discounting that at all. I just think that like an Alphonso Davies wouldn't have let that shot go through. Let's just put it that way. Then you have Lucas Cavallini, who's more of like a legit number 9 striker, like the top position guys. We actually have 4 of those. Cavallini, David, Larin, and Ike Ugbo. Those guys are predominantly attacking wingers on the Canadian strikers, number 9s. So if they play with 2 strikers, I can see it starting with genuinely probably Larin and David. I just think David's form right now for his club team is just way too good to pass up on. I think David can be pretty quick, and Larin could be like that holding striker because Larin's also come back from injury and doing quite decent with that. So, yeah. And then our wingers, I mean, there's no question Alphonso Davies starts, barring injury, of course. And I think the fact that he only played 60 minutes in his last club game is somewhat promising. Just that you want to get him to rest and not re-aggravate the injury. But if we're going to be honest, in this window, Davies is playing every minute. If we can have him play every minute, he's playing every minute.
Yeah.
So, and then we have Davies is going to be the left wing, and then Buchanan's going to be the right wing. I mean, none of this is announced. Obviously, you're not going to announce the starting roster, the starting lineup until like the day of the game. Like an hour before. So, I mean, we'll retweet it on our Twitter page, right? But this is our projection. So I think Alphonso Davies starts on the left. Taijon Buchanan starts on the right. Strikers, because they play two in the front usually. So I think it would be David, and then the holding striker will be Larin, just to provide more. And then Liam Miller is a good guy. That can like play the wing position if need be. And then I think Ike Ugbo is mostly a striker, but I think he can play like a little bit of a winger, but he doesn't defend. So that's why I would put him more of like a striker. The wingers need to be able to defend. Like, we're not going to sugarcoat this. They need to be able to come back and defend, especially with like the mid that usually starts. Like if I'm a betting man, if Atiba Hutchinson's fully healthy, I see Atiba Hutchinson and Eustachio starting in the middle. But I personally, for me, I would probably put Osorio. I would start with Osorio and one of Marc-Anthony Kaye or Samuel Piette. Just because it's actually probably Marc-Anthony Kaye. Osorio's more offensive minded, like the number 10 like can produce and like looks into making those plays, and then Marc-Anthony Kaye is a shutdown kind of guy that's gonna be there to defend. A combination of Eustachio and Osorio, I think it's too offensive and it's gonna risk too much of a counter attack against us, right?
Do you want kind of like a balance?
I prefer a balance. I very much prefer a balance. It's just Marc-Anthony Kaye and Samuel Piette, they can still make the passes that they need to. They can still make the runs, but they have more of a defensive mindset in which they're like able to, pick up the slack of some mistakes that we're definitely going to make.
Yeah. Like
Eustachio is known for those like little mistakes that he'll make on the defensive side of the ball, or like needless tackles that have no reason of being made. So, yeah, and then man, our team is so young. Our best players are so young, dude. Like, Taijon Buchanan is only 22. Alphonso Davies and Jonathan David are both only 21. Eustachio is only 24. 24? Like, what? Alistair Johnson is only 23. Larea is 26. Osorio is the ancient one at 29.
The quote-unquote ancient one?
Yeah, right. Crepeau's 27, which for goalies is still, like, they're young still. Ike Ugbo is 23. Like, we got a young team, man. And this is only going to get better. And hopefully with, like, the England under 21s that are not being called up to England, like, a few of them can change nationality still to represent Canada if they want. And there's a couple midfielders, and then there's a couple defenders that could really make this team go to the next level. But
you think they're just waiting to see how this team does, and then they can decide
probably
from there?
I think the fact that they're doing well right now is encouraging more people to come on over to play for Canada instead of the other countries that they're eligible for. I cannot underestimate this enough. Ike Ugbo could have easily played for Nigeria. He would have been one of their starting strikers, if I'm not mistaken. But he chose to come here to Canada for more of a competition because again, I don't know this for 100% certainty. Obviously, I don't talk to Ike. But Ike, if you're listening, like, you can shoot us a text and we'll interview you, But I definitely... Ike has more competition here on Canada than he would in Nigeria, and he chose competition over the sure thing of playing. And I think personally for me, I see more upside in Canada than Nigeria. I see more upside in Canada than a lot of international programs. Dude, like, we're definitely not at the Spain, Germany, Brazil, Argentina level, but we can get to a level where we're competing. This team, Croatia made it to the final last time of the last World Cup. Right?
Yeah, they did.
Like,
yep.
Peru was one penalty away from making it into the next round, where Denmark ended up making it all the way, or who lost to Croatia. Like, there's just so many things that a team can just break through. You know what I mean? And you just need one good game. It's not like a season that you play. You make it out of the group stage, and then whoever's the hottest team is the one that's going to win.
Yep.
So, Canada has a chance of qualifying for the World Cup. Once they qualify, it's anyone's game, and they have the star power to be able to actually be competitive. Which, that is the first time in my life that I'm ever saying this about a Canadian men's soccer team. That's shocking.
That is shocking.
Shocking. So, and looking at their matchups, so they're playing against Costa Rica, and they're playing against Mexico. So, Costa Rica is on the 12th, Mexico is on November 16th. The better team of the two, Mexico on the 16th. Yeah. Okay, Mexico is a perennial CONCACAF powerhouse. They consistently make it to the World Cup. I can't remember a World Cup in which Mexico would not participate. I don't even know if there was a single one. They have good depth. Their defense is solid. Their mid is solid. Forwards are always solid. That is going to be the biggest challenge for Canada.
Yeah.
Mexico, for sure. Now, I think they can beat Mexico, but Costa Rica is going to be the first challenge. They have to, in my opinion, this window, for it to be considered a successful window, minimum 4 points. You have to beat one of Mexico or Costa Rica, and they can't lose either game.
No.
And the better team of the two is Mexico. So I think you start off with the win against Costa Rica. And Costa Rica has some good players, okay? Like, let's not sugarcoat this. Costa Rica is a good team. They have a world-class goaltender and a keeper in Keylor Navas, who at this moment is playing for PSG, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they have world-class players on that team. And then our first game will be against Costa Rica. Costa Rica's best player by far is their goalkeeper, in Keylor Navas, their starting goalie. I'm looking at Transfer Market, and he's by far their most valuable player at $13.2 million at 34 years old. He plays for PSG, which is the biggest named club on their roster. So they have a decent... goaltending is not going to be an issue for them. But as you and I spoke earlier about, he can only do so much.
Yeah.
Right? You can only do so much as a goalkeeper in this league, and you have to in the sport. Sorry, and then you have to be able to have a team around you that's going to put up good. I don't know if numbers are the best thing, but just provide support.
Yes, but you also have to make those key saves, like when A
100% agree. So Costa Rica's team is overall, honestly, a decent team. Like, they're not dominant, but they're not terrible, right?
Yeah.
But this is a winnable game. This is very much a winnable match for them. And their results haven't been fantastic yet. Like, they tied 1-1 at home to Jamaica. They tied 0-0 away to Honduras. They won 2-1 at home to El Salvador, but El Salvador had a red card in that game. And then they lost 2-1 away to the United States. This window, they play against us, Canada, and then against Honduras in Costa Rica, so at home to Honduras. So realistically, Costa Rica is looking for sure to get those 3 points out of Honduras. Honduras is not a good team. Okay?
No. Yeah.
I mean, they're good enough to make it to the final round of qualification, let's just put it that way. But Honduras is not as good of a team as Costa Rica, right? And then, yeah, they lost to Mexico 1-0 in Costa Rica. The last time Canada and Costa Rica played each other was in the Gold Cup quarterfinal, and Canada won 2-0, right? And in that game, if I'm not mistaken, we didn't have Davies, and we didn't have that kind of those guys. So this is doable for Canada to win. But Costa Rica also didn't have Keylor Navas playing for whatever reason. So it will be interesting. It's very interesting to point out that Canada doesn't have Junior Hoylett playing. He wasn't announced to our roster. I don't know if he's injured or not, or if it's just a form thing. But Junior Hoylett is a typical Canadian that is almost always announced to our team, but he's not in it right now. But yeah, so the last time we played, it was Canada won 2-0 without our best two players. David also was not on that team. But Eustachio and Hoylett scored the 2 goals. So we're going to have obviously a different team. And I'm looking at the roster. There is nobody that no big names that come out of this team for me. They have 7 guys playing for Costa Rica's biggest club. Yeah, I mean, apart from that, they have a couple MLS players. In Calvo, they have a La Liga player in Oscar Duarte. So he's decent. You got they have a left back who's pretty good, who plays for FC Cincinnati in the MLS, and Matarrita. That's an awesome name, hey? They have an FC Copenhagen player. This is a game that is winnable, okay? They have 2 FC Cincinnati players, actually, the more I'm looking at this. Interesting. And they have a lot of players playing in their domestic team right now. In the domestic league. Their best player, not named Keylor Navas, is an old gentleman that plays for Nashville SC called Randall Leal. But yeah, I mean, I don't have much else to point out in regards to Costa Rica, and then Mexico's also. You're looking at Mexico.
Yeah.
So who's Mexico got?
So obviously, same as Costa Rica, their goaltending is very, very good. Yeah. Just put it nicely. Yeah, very, very good. And Guillermo Ochoa, basically all their players are from their Mexican league, except for a couple. There's Edson Alvarez, who plays for Ajax. Lots of players from America, from Cruz Azul. One very good player in Andres Guardado.
Yeah, he's a good player too.
He's a very good player.
I think something you and I were talking about. Sorry for interrupting,
no,
but
it's all good.
The age of the team. They're an older, more experienced team, and I think that's a big part because this window they're playing against the States and Canada. So I think the reason that you're seeing such an experienced team is because they're playing away to their 2 biggest rivals, and then that's who. Because Mexico, if they win both their games, Mexico's pretty much guaranteed a spot in the World Cup. Yeah. Okay, they're pretty much guaranteed a spot in the World Cup. But,
and how many games do they have to play?
Everyone's playing 2.
No, how many games in total do they have to play in the...
left?
Yeah.
I think everybody has 8.
8 left?
No. 7. I don't know. Because they're playing 2 3s, 2 2s, 4, 10. Everybody has 10 games left.
They have 10 games left. So quite a bit left. Okay. Yeah, I would say if Mexico wins both their games, then they are basically guaranteed. But for us, for Canada, we just have to at least tie them just to be up there still, right? Because like you said, there's like 10 games left, so there's still lots of soccer to be played. But
so Canada lost points against Jamaica and Honduras at home. We should have won both those games, which would have put us tied for first with Mexico. We have 10 goals for, which is good for tied for the most with Mexico. 4 goals against, which is tied for the second fewest with the United States. We allowed one more goal than Mexico. And we're third with 10 points. Fourth is Panama with 8, and fifth is Costa Rica with 6. If we beat Costa Rica, that automatically gives us a huge gap between third and fifth. Because Jamaica's in 6th with 5 points, but Jamaica is playing the United States.
And we need to be top 2 to
top
make it
3.
Top 3 to make it for sure?
Guaranteed top 3.
Okay.
Then the fourth place plays in a playoff.
Oh, okay.
So even fourth is the end of the world, but you obviously want to make it top 3.
Yeah.
Right.
So like if we get at least 4 points in these 2 games, we should be comfortable in the top 3.
Yeah. So again, my favorite website to use is Transfer Market when looking at the Canadian or the men's national programs, because Transfer Market gives you like what their worth is in the transfer market, and it just ranks them, right?
Yeah.
So Costa Rica's total transfer market value is $32.37 million. And then of those 32, Keylor Navas accounts for 13 of them. So it's not as valuable as a team, which it doesn't give you the exact. It doesn't tell you exactly how good the team is, but it gives you an idea of like what other people view them as, right? Yeah. Right coaching will make them a lot better. But anyways, Canada's value.
How much you said for Costa Rica?
Costa Rica is 32.37. What's Mexico's?
Way more than that, because there's like 2 players that make 30 or above.
Okay. Yeah. Well, what's Mexico's?
In total, holy crap. It's, basically 248 million.
That's not bad. Canada's is 184.
Dang.
Well, I mean, Alphonso Davies is 77 million. So, yeah, Alphonso Davies is 77 million. You have Samuel Piet at 2 million. Eustachio at 5.5. Osorio and Kay at 6.6. Larin at 13. Jonathan David at 39. Ike Ugbo at 5. Cavallini at 5. Taijon Buchanan at 8, and that's only rising. So we have a good, highly valued team. I mean, you have Belgium, who's like in the billions. Yeah, right?
That's a lot.
France is up there in the billions as well, I think. This team, I think just by looking at that, is a team that's getting better. We're young, and we're going to keep on improving. Costa Rica and Mexico are going to be good challenges. Costa Rica, today's game against Costa Rica on Friday the 12th, it's a mandatory must-win game,
yes,
especially at home. The fact that we tied against Mexico in Mexico, we are playing with dealers, with the casino's money right now, really. So if you have a favorable result, even if it's just a tie against Mexico, I'm not going to be upset. But if we beat Mexico, then it doesn't guarantee us to be in first place.
But it gives us a good chance to be top 3.
It cements us in the top 3 for sure. Because looking at all, Costa Rica, Panama and Costa Rica are the 2 teams that are closest to us in the battle, right? So looking at that, Panama in this window plays the easiest 2 matchups against Honduras and El Salvador, who are last and second last respectively. Okay, Panama likely will win one of the 2 games.
Yeah,
if not both. And I think they're playing away. So they're playing away to Honduras, which is a tough matchup. I can see that being a draw. And then they're playing at home to El Salvador, which I can see them winning. But if El Salvador or Honduras beat Panama, that would be huge for Canada for sure.
It would just help us.
So much. And then Jamaica plays against El Salvador and U.S. U.S. is probably winning. U.S. should win. Okay. Yeah. And then, this is going to be USA-Mexico plays 5 minutes after our kickoff here in Edmonton. USA and Mexico are kicking off in the U.S. Don't know where in the U.S. quite yet, but I do know it is in the U.S. Let's see. TQL Stadium. Where is that? Cincinnati.
Okay.
So, yeah. Canada has to come out of this window. This is the biggest pressure that they'll have in any window so far. They have to come out of this with a minimum 4 points. For it to be deemed a success, 4 points.
Yeah, no, for sure. Hopefully, especially Edmonton's weather, hopefully that plays a factor. Yeah. Just because, I think in Mexico, they're at a higher elevation, I think, right?
Yeah, so Mexico's home field is, high elevation, tough place.
Yeah.
The Azteca.
Yeah. So hopefully, with our weather being... It is getting pretty chilly out, too, even in November right now, where there's no snow still. Hopefully, that will play a part in in our home field advantage, how high elevation plays to Mexico's strength.
It's gonna be a high of 4 and a low of -7 on Friday.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be pretty chilly.
It's gonna snow on Monday, and Tuesday is gonna be a high of -1 and a low of -8. So I think the colder weather against Mexico helps us more.
Yes.
But that still being said, this is a young team. This is incredible for their development as professional football players. This is huge for them. So our leadership really needs to shine here because this is going to be a very difficult and stressful time for these players. And I'm hoping Edmonton, we come out just absolutely blasting and just loving our team, showing them the support that they rightfully deserve. And this is an incredible time.
And overtake the Latin American crowd that's definitely going to be there in Commonwealth.
Latin American, it's a loud group. Yeah. I went to a game in Peru once. It was just friendly, I think, and it was the loudest environment I've been in my life.
I even went to an MLS game for the Whitecaps in August, and it was still very loud for an MLS game. So this is gonna be some fun soccer. This
is a great team to watch, and it's going to be fantastic.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be hard fought games. This is a tough two teams. Costa Rica was in the last World Cup, and they're a perennial World Cup qualifier. They're not as deep as they've been in the past, but they have the experience. Same with Mexico. So it's going to be youth against experience in both the games, I find. But my prediction, we beat Costa Rica 2-0, and Mexico, it's a 2-1 win.
You're just going for the wins.
I think it's realistic.
It is realistic, yeah.
I think they
especially
can do it.
Since we played really well in Mexico versus Mexico. So I can see 2 wins.
I think that will help with the pressure, and then the fact that we'll have the veteran leadership back.
We'll have all our stars on the team. Hopefully.
Yeah, we just can't pick up injuries.
Yeah.
So, but ideal world, how I realistically see this happening, if everybody stays healthy, 2-0 win against Costa Rica, 2-1 win against Mexico.
I don't know about score-wise, but I'm going to say I want to get all 6 points, but I think we're going to get 4.
Yep. I'd still be okay with that. I'd be over the moon with 6. I'd be happy with 4. Yes. I'll be honest, I'll be disappointed with anything less than 4.
No,
I'd be distraught with 0 or 1. And I would be...
basically 4 or... bust.
Yeah. But Herman's good at getting the best out of his team.
Yeah.
I think he's going to mention to them, gentlemen, this isn't that far into the qualification, but these are the 2 biggest games that we've had so far, and these are 2 must-wins for us. Because I do think these are must-wins if we want to get in position to really be able to compete.
Yeah.
Because it's only a 2-game window, and we can really get some separation if the results go right. We're hoping that every team below us ties. Because you don't want anybody to win, right?
No.
And then we win both our games. Ideal world, everybody below us ties, and we win all of our games. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be huge. Except for Costa Rica, they have to lose because we're playing them. So. All right, this will be an incredible time. If you can't watch it, if you don't have cable or something, reach out. There's One Soccer that has it. Find somebody with the One Soccer account. I'm sure they'll lend it to you. Be COVID responsible still. Don't have massive parties to watch it or anything. But almost any bar is going to have this game. This this is the time to be a soccer fan in Canada. So go out and support our team because they need the support, and this is a huge window. And this is the closest soccer we've ever seen a World Cup in 30 years. So this is incredible. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the preview. Enjoy the game tonight, Friday, November 12th. Enjoy the game. Have fun. And we'll see you in our recap show all about footy next Friday.
Oh, and stay tuned for some vlogs that we're going to do.
Yeah, we're going to try to vlog during the game. Yeah. We'll see how that goes. But thank you, everybody, for listening to this preview. Enjoy the game tonight. Cheer them on. And yeah, go Canada. We got to win this. Let's go.